You know who could answer this question? Mike Leach. Welcome to My God a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I preview Georgia's matchup with Georgia Tech in the 2025 edition of Clean Old Fashioned Hate. We talk through what we're looking for in the game, and we answer questions from you, our listeners. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, if you need help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. Now, let's join the conversation in progress.
We're back. Clean, old fashioned hate.
This is dramatic. A dramatic reading of the name of the rivalry. As only you can get here on My God Podcast.
I'm channeling my inner Joel Huggins.
Yeah, I think one of the themes maybe we'll see. Well, we'll see if this sticks. But in my head, I feel like one of the things I try to do and we try to do this week is to remind folks like why this is a big deal and why it is a big rivalry. So I've got a couple of things that I'll point out as we move through this. But yeah, I mean, for me, this is the big one. So got to get that state championship. Say that we run this state and all those things. So.
Yeah, we do run the state, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's not much to say. If you can't get excited about clean old fashioned hate, particularly after being on Twitter, looking at all of the nonsense over the last 2 weeks, watching little brother fumble over themselves, basically like trying to run for a touchdown without actually catching the ball. That's basically what happened to Tech last week.
Yeah.
They had a clear touchdown ready to go, but they were looking upfield at who was going to get them next and drop the ball. The biggest game in the 35 years or whatever it was since they last were nationally relevant. Yeah, man, I'm a little frustrated with them because it could have made this game a lot more fun. But it'll still be fun.
I have noticed that in reading some stuff and like reading some articles. Like I was reading a Seth Emerson article today, and it was like, this would have been this had Tech beat Pitt, kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of that. So yeah, I do think, I think nationally and then just the playoff picture, this game looks very different now than it did a week ago. And then obviously I think Tech needs serious help to make the ACC championship, whereas they could have clinched it. So yeah, a lot changed in a week, for sure. Since we were previewing last week to tonight, things changed Saturday night in a big way. So
Yeah.
we got to keep our eye on the prize. Got to keep our eye on the ball this week. So
Yeah, I trust Kirby to have the guys dialed in. The thing
for sure.
that's been annoying for me is listening to people say like I tweeted something and somebody responded to one of my tweets and was like, or maybe I quote tweeted something and people have been responding to it, but it was basically talking about that they could spoil our CFP, and I don't think that that's accurate at all. If anything, we can spoil any hope that they have of being involved in anything moving forward.
Right. Right. Yeah, they've been out in full force on the socials
Yeah,
this
dude.
week. Like it's been kind of wild.
If
I've been reading it. I've just been staying out of it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, and I hope that that's how the Georgia team feels as
Mm,
well. I hope they have tweets and comments and things just blasted all over Butts-Mehre. Um, Basically, just read what these people have said. I mean, I've seen people pull stuff out like, I've seen like Munson memes get drug out of the attic for for them to fly their crazy on social media.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere someone was like, you know, we kept it classy. We didn't talk about Kirby Smart's dad, and people were like, wait, what?
I saw that thread. I can't remember where that came from, but I was like, what is happening right here? And somebody was like, congratulations, like question mark.
If you're
Yeah.
a Georgia fan that has questioned the validity, Yara, the question the validity of this rivalry, um, yeah, just peruse Twitter and it'll get 1,000 times worse. Should things not go our way. Um, yeah, it's definitely a hate week. It feels a little bit more hateful this time around than it did last year, and it would absolutely feel that way had Tech not fumbled the bag last week.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Totally agree.
All right, let's run through the matchup.
All right, let's run through it. So quick reminder, you can always follow us on social media at My Got a Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And then also just remind everyone you can head over to homefield.mygotapodcast.com. Check out Homefield's apparel. You can always use the code HunkerDown to get 15% off your first order. I will say right now they actually have a Black Friday sale going on, so you can use their Black Friday code to get like 30% off. But still head over to homefield.mygotapodcast.com, and then that way you're still helping out My Got a Podcast even if you use their code. All right, so for the matchup, kickoff is Friday. Reminder: the game is on Friday. This is another Black Friday matchup. It is not on Saturday. Friday, November 28th at 3:30 p.m. at the Benz. So also game is in Atlanta, but not at historic Mark Field at Bobby Dodd Stadium. The Dogs coming into this game at 10-1, wrapped up their SEC schedule at 7-1. Georgia Tech 9-2 on the season, 6-2 in the ACC. The Dogs are number 4 in all the land in all the polls. Tech is, I think, like 19 in one poll, 23 in the other. I believe they're 23 in the latest playoff rankings that just came out tonight. The game is on ABC with a broadcast crew of Joe Tessitore, Jesse Palmer, and Katie George, and it's on Sirius XM 81 if you're into that. And the official hashtag that we will forget to use is hashtag UGA verse GT. The all-time series record, Georgia leads it 72, 39, and 5. Georgia Tech claims 2 more wins. So yeah, you can check 2 of the boxes on this being a rivalry in that Georgia Tech claims, I think, 2 more victories than we've got. So we've got that, and then obviously a named game. So and then last meeting, the Dogs won in the 8 overtime thriller, 44-42 last year in Athens. And then if you're going to be down there, the cold front has come or is coming or whatever throughout this weekend. Looks like a high of 50 on Saturday. Um,
50. Wow, that's higher than what I saw.
yeah, I see high of 50, low of 31. So
Okay.
I imagine the roof will be closed, so it will not be nearly as cold as the 8 overtime game last year. That
I
was
guess that's one
that was
benefit of
brutal.
being in the bins.
There you go. Right. For sure. For sure. All right. That's it for the matchup. I believe you have a JP fun fact.
I do. Um, it's not so much about the university, or the trade school, I guess I should say. Um, it's not about the trade school. It's more so about their quarterback.
Okay.
Jim, are you familiar with the past of Mr. Haynes King?
I know he is a multi time transfer. I know that.
Multi-time. I only saw one, but
Okay. So it's the single. He was Texas A&M, right? He went from Texas A&M to Georgia Tech.
that
Okay.
is correct. He came from Texas A&M. He came from Texas A&M, but he actually graduated from Texas A&M. So
Okay.
he is a full-fledged member of the cult. He's a cult member, Jim.
Okay.
Um, and we need to do what one does with the occult. We need to snuff it out.
Okay.
Um, so he is. So I was curious about his academic situation because, one of the things that we keep hearing is about how amazing their academics are and how we're inbred and rednecks and we can't read and all those sorts of things.
Right. Right.
So he graduated with a degree in marketing from Texas A&M. And then I was like, well, what is he studying at Georgia Tech? I'm just curious. So he is apparently he's getting his master's or work progressing, and it sounds like that he is on track um, for he's on track for a master's degree in history and sociology of technology.
Okay. Interesting.
There are two tracks, and I have not confirmed one way or the other um, which of these tracks that he is on. I am willing to bet that he is on one versus the other, and I'm going to explain to you why. Um, there's two tracks in this 30 credit hour program that basically examines far-reaching impacts of science, technology, globalization, and social change. Technology and Science track explores the technology and science from a historical and sociological perspective. Politics, Power, and Inequality examines contemporary issues such as racial justice, urbanization, and environmental change. Which of those two tracks do you think that one Haynes King is a part of, Jim? I'm just curious.
Oh, I have no idea.
I mean,
They're
this
quite
is a
different.
yeah, they're very different, but either way, like, the Georgia Institute of Technology, right?
Right.
This bastion of math and science, and we're talking about social issues. That's what this kid's graduated in. I feel like this is like the Georgia Tech version of basket weaving. This is a program that is designed for like Jim Herrick. This is a Jim Herrick program, is what I feel like. We're talking about the sociological perspective of technology and science. Like, this is probably one of the most fluff programs I think that I could think of that has to exist at Georgia Tech.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yes, I was not aware that this program existed. Uh, yeah. There we go. There we go. Now you know. Now you know.
Now you know. Now you know what Haynes King is doing at Georgia Tech.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Did not. We always learn something in JP Sun Facts.
Yes. The
Uh,
extensive research on these
extensive
things.
research. Extensive research. All right. Want to head to Hasty's Harvard History?
Let's do it.
All right. Time for Hasty's Harvard History, Georgia Tech edition. As always, Jason Hasty sends us in something relevant for the week. And always remind folks you can go and hang out with Jason and check out some artifacts at the Harvard Library in Athens. And he also does tours every Friday, although I would imagine not this Friday on Black Friday. All right. This week's installment of Hasty's Harvard History was initially to be about the Titanic clash between number 5 Georgia and number 2 Tech in Athens on November 28th, 1942. A clash that Georgia won 34 to nothing and which sent us to the Rose Bowl. That was the last clean old-fashioned hate game that carried national championship implications for both teams and would have provided a historical context to what should have been a high-stakes game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium this coming Friday. But Tech lost to Pitt, so that storyline changed. Instead, we will look at an incident that was mentioned briefly in last week's installment of Hasty's Harvard History: the discontinuation of athletic relations between Georgia and Tech during the first half of the 1920s. The athletic relationship between Georgia and Tech started out well. During Georgia's first ever game in Atlanta on February 20th, 1892, Tech students cheered for the red and black during the game against Auburn with their cry, Techity Tech, Who Rex, Boom Rah, Georgia. Tech's first visit to Athens on November 4th, 1893, which was the first game of the season that year, ended with an angry mob of students and townspeople chasing Tech's team to the train station, crying foul at Tech's use of non Tech students and at least one member of the U.S. Army on their team. During Georgia's next appearance against Auburn in Atlanta on November 24th, 1894, Tech students cheered heartily for the orange and blue. Tensions between the two baseball programs began to amount in 1907, with a botched call costing the Red and Black Nine a game. Tech denied Stedman Sanford's request for a rematch to clear up the matter and publicly mocked him for asking. Throughout the pre-war period, Tech and Georgia students and supporters battled with words, with poor sportsmanship in the grandstands, and with fists before, during, and after football and baseball games. The real cause of the break, though, was World War I. Georgia, as discussed last week, shuttered its athletic program for the duration of the war, as men were expected to either join the military straight away or else train for combat while waiting to join. Tech took the opposite approach. They kept their athletics programs running, feeling that football, especially, was excellent training for combat. John Heisman's 1917 Golden Tornado team ran roughshod over its competition of smaller schools and schools whose rosters were depleted because of men who had joined the military. Tech allowed only 17 points all season and shut out 7 opponents. Joe Guyon, who played for Pop Warner's Carlisle Indian School team during the 1912 and 1913 seasons, was a star for Tech's team at the age of 25. Tech claims a national championship for 1917. During the annual Senior Day parade in Athens in the spring of 1919, Georgia students mocked Tech's refusal to curtail its athletics programs during the war, despite that several Tech athletes had volunteered for military service and at least one lost his life. Georgia seniors paraded a mocked up tank with the words Georgia in France 1918 on one side. The tank might have had the words Georgia in the Argonne, a particularly vicious battle fought by American forces, 1918, on the other side, though sources disagree on this. To mock Tech, they drove a car decorated in Tech's colors behind the tank with Georgia students wearing women's clothing walking alongside it. The message was not subtle. Georgia athletes were men who'd gone off to France to do their duty, while Tech's athletes hid at home because they weren't masculine enough to have joined the military. The display infuriated Tech's administration and was the final straw that broke off relations between the two schools. Tech's president, David Crenshaw, informed Stedman Sanford that Tech would no longer schedule athletics contests with the university. The schools met occasionally in basketball tournaments, but there were no regular season contests scheduled between the schools until 1924, when the hardest feelings about the Senior Day incident had mostly passed. They agreed to resume the football rivalry in 1925. Clark Howell, editor of the Atlanta Constitution, hoped that each school should do their utmost to make each game a contest between friends and brothers, clean cut and hard fought, but always on the high plane of gentlemanly sportsmanship. Whether or not the teams and fans honor that call to gentlemanly sportsmanship, clean old fashioned hate survives to this day. To close this is still from Jason. To close this, I would like to mention my debt to the master's thesis, Let Honor Fall, Georgia Football and Lost Cause Mentality, 1892 to 1925, published by Victoria Burkow in 2017. Victoria, I hope I said your name correctly. This thesis is an excellent resource for the incidents related above, as well as a thorough analysis of the tragic death of Von Gammon in 1896 and the peculiar role of women in athletics during that era. This thesis is available through the UGA Library's website. So if you want to go check that out, you can head over to the site to do so. So thanks, Jason, as always. And man, I think we got get the full backstory, or a portion of the full backstory on where clean old fashioned hate comes from.
Amen. Amen.
All right. Let's see. Let's hit the news and notes, John. A couple of things. Actual like news. CJ Allen was named one of the 5 Butkus Award finalists, so that was pretty cool. And as well, Brett Thorson was named one of the 3 Ray Guy Award finalists. So some accolades for some current dogs for their work they put in thus far this season. And then on the press conference front, just always kind of go through there on the injury report. Chauncey Bowens rested last week, did not play against Charlotte. Kirby said that it looks good for Chauncey. And then for Drew Bobo and Ernest Green, he said they're both doing great. Both are completely available. Also good news on Kyron Jones. He said we were hopeful to get Kyron Jones back last week. Obviously that didn't happen, so a bit of a hopeful kiss of death there for Kyron. And then on CJ Allen, he said, yeah, he's working his tail off, doing the best he can to be available when he can. So I'm not sure. I think for those guys, it sounds kind of questionable. If I had to guess, I would say we would not see them this week, but we shall see. If we get CJ Allen this week, that would be amazing. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on that.
Yeah, seriously. That would be amazing. I would take it, Jim.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, let's get into the game. Let's talk about this matchup. So kind of like the macro level type stuff we tend to do. They actually are slightly better in net yards per play than us. They're at 1.18. Georgia's at 1.13. They are struggling more in the turnover margin than we are. We are -1, like in the red on turnover margin. Georgia Tech is actually -6. And so what I have seen is they actually don't. that's like a defense thing. So their defense only has 6 takeaways. So that's kind of the difference there between Georgia and Georgia Tech. All right, let's talk about what we're looking for when the dogs hit the ball, John. Um, so it's a couple of notable Tech players to watch out for. Leading tackler is Kyle Efford. He's back. We saw him last year. He's a junior. He's got 68 total tackles and 1.5 sacks on the season. Rodney Shelley is a senior defensive back. He's got 1 pick on the season. And Akilo Stone is a senior defensive lineman with 4 sacks on the year. From, I mean, what I have looked at, and really just from what I've seen with them, this is where they struggle. So as far as like in terms of the FBS, they don't like as far as like overall ranking, their defense doesn't rank even up to 75th in any category that we track. In any category that we track, they are 77th in points per game. They're 107th in the FBS in total yards given up. So the defense has been a bit of a struggle for Tech this year.
Yeah, I was just about to tweet out something while we were sitting here talking about why I was what I was going to be looking for here. The defense is absolutely going to be their Achilles heel in this game. It's the Achilles heel of the entire team. You look at all of their numbers align pretty nicely with ours, but there's definitely a red herring for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And like watching that, I mean, the Pitt game is the game that I've watched the most of theirs. I watched a decent amount of Clemson, watched a little bit of the Syracuse game. And I mean, you could definitely, I feel like what they are struggling with is what we're good at too, honestly. Like, I mean, they'd given up like 167 yards rushing a game. They were 96th in the country in rushing yards allowed per game. So, I mean, I would look for a healthy dose of, especially if Bowens is a go, healthy dose of Bowens, Nate Frazier, and then shoot Gunner to run it and feed Branch and all the tight ends and receivers. I think it
Yeah.
stacks up well for our offense.
Yeah, I mean, so if you look at it, like, if you look at everything, Jim, are we going to jump into the Tech offense versus Georgia defense? Like, how are we going to
We
roll
can go
here?
we can go to that.
Okay. So if you look at things from an offensive perspective, Tech has a slight edge. There's some arguments to be made about the people that they've played and all those kinds of things. But from a straight up like advanced stats number, and if you haven't checked out dog stats, what are we calling it? Portal over at Speakeasy, channel over at Speakeasy. Definitely go and check that out because it is very helpful for aligning the matchups.
Yeah.
You can see things very clearly, and you'll see very quickly when you look at the comparison for Georgia and Georgia Tech that very clearly they have a good offense. We also have a pretty good offense as well. The defense is, as we alluded to just a minute ago, is Georgia Tech's problem.
Yep.
Um, so if they allow their average defensive success rate versus our offense, that's basically our average offensive success rate. And so if you would wager a margin to guess, like if Georgia just stayed on the success rate schedule that we were on, I feel like that you would like us in this game as a a non-biased observer or whatever. The defense, though, our defense is significantly better than their defense, and we're gonna knock them down from their season average. And so that's gonna put them into a very difficult spot from an offensive standpoint, where they may end up chasing the game, and that's gonna get them into trouble. You just look at the net yards per play. Uh, Net yards per play, we basically outpaced them by a full yard per play.
Yeah. Yeah. Um the individuals, I mean, obviously this team starts and ends with Haynes King. Um
Right.
he was up there Heisman hopeful a few weeks ago, at least before the Pitt loss. 2,500 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's also their leading rusher, 883 yards and 15 rushing touchdowns. Um, Malachi Hosley, he's their leading rusher. But like Jamal Haynes, I would say is kind of like their number one back, but he's behind Hosley in rushing thus far this season. And then as far as their wideouts, Eric Rivers is senior. He's a transfer, 536 yards and one touchdown. He's their leading receiver. And then Isaiah Canyon, sophomore receiver, 4 touchdowns and 426 yards receiving. So just a few of the folks to be out on the lookout for. I think like last year, um, I'll give a call out to the locked on guys. I saw they were talking about this a bit. Like people trying to kind of compare the 8 overtime game last year to this year, and their point was like a big difference was Georgia really struggled to stop the run just in general last year, like the entire season. And that has not been the case this year. So last year they were definitely, they were able to take advantage of that. But this is a different Georgia defense than last year. Also, their best receiver that gashed us last year, like he's at Auburn. So for what that's worth,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that they still, I don't know. I think they're going to get some yards. They're going to get some plays, obviously. I think that this is very much for Georgia, sets up like a, protect the ball, win the game kind of thing.
100%. I totally
I
agree
think
with you.
that I think that this is, don't turn the ball over, no boneheaded throws like we had against Charlotte kind of thing. Don't force the ball downfield. Just stay on schedule. Don't chase points if we need if I know that Jim, you're going to be concerned about that.
I actually can hear Lily still being mad about going for two last year, like earlier in the game. It was like if we didn't go for two earlier, we would have just kicked an extra point to win the game in regulation. But yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
Such is life. Yeah, I think that it literally is just going to come down to protect the ball, win the game.
Yeah, I will say too, like this is one where um, like we've said, their offense is, I mean, it is a good offense. Like there's no way around it. They're fifth in the FBS on like total yards gained per game. So like it's a good offense. So with that, with their offense, I would say this is one of those games where like don't get flustered and don't be shocked if they move the ball in the first drive. Like if they get the ball and go down and score, like don't be shocked. Like this is one of those games. This is one of those offenses where that would not surprise me. And so we can send the Kirby like calm down gif maybe or something for everyone if that happens. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked by that, but I would then look for us to adjust like we've been doing all season.
Agreed. I think that it's going to be one of those situations where um, stay the course, don't crash out. Quote me on this in the text thread, Jim, for when I do eventually crash out. But don't crash out. I think that this is very much going to be this is very much a good offense. I think what they were as of like a few weeks ago, they were like the number one offense in the country, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're good. They're good. I mean, Buster Faulkner, still there. Used to be on staff at Georgia under Munkin, and he has figured out how to utilize Hayne King and like maximize his skill set. So
Yeah, I think that Buster Faulkner was largely credited with a lot of the Stetson, um, some of the Stetson-esque things that Stetson did, and it's Haynes King is very much like a Stetson Bennett type character, I feel like. Um, but yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I think for us, it's ultimately going to come down to just protect the ball, win the game.
yeah, I'm with
Protect
you.
the ball, win the game, trenches, all those things, like just to do your job. Do your job as one of the quotes that I saw in the victory highlights that the program put out from the Charlotte game was uh BYOJ, bring your own juice.
I like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
that was amazing.
Uh,
Bring your own juice. Like everybody just do your job, bring your own juice, and you'll be good to go.
I love it. Love it. Cool. Let's. I guess anything else there. I got like one special teams thing or two special teams things.
I mean, from an offensive standpoint, I think, like I said, Stacy's working on getting invited to New Year's Eve, the New Year's Eve party. Um, I
He's
think
already got the Christmas card.
this Christmas
Now,
card's in the
now,
mail. We got the Christmas party invitation, so now we're working on New Year's Day festivities as well. Um, yeah, I think that. I think that this team is, as I heard on what do you call it? What's the PF guys?
The PFF?
Yeah, PFF. That's what it is. PFF. I think I heard on a PFF analysis. Um, I do not want to be a team that's playing Georgia when Georgia has figured things out.
Yeah.
Um, dude, I hearken back to the road game against was it the Mississippi State game or the Auburn game? I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of those away games where it was an early game and they played the video from the parents, and I feel like
Mm,
that we talked about this like that was going to be a spark for the season, I feel like, and you look back and it feels very much like that's what's playing out. Like ever since they were reminded about having fun and what this was like growing up and going out and doing the hard things when you were a kid, and like I feel like that this staff was able to tap into something deep inside and they've been able to flip the script.
yeah. That was it was Mississippi State. That was the game when
Yeah,
they did that because it was like that 11 o'clock local kickoff.
right.
And they
That's what I
did that.
thought.
And then the theme that emerged, that from what we've heard about with that video is like, uh, that they hate to lose. Uh, like that's one of the things that these kids all were like, was they hated to lose. So, the only other thing I was gonna add too is just like the environment, right? Like as far as like they've got this really good offense dealing with our defense, um, and they're not gonna have the home crowd. I mean, to be honest, right? I mean, with it being here, they're getting paid a lot of money for this, but I think they're going to have given up the home field advantage, especially after the result last week. So
Yeah, I think so. It'll be interesting to see what the crowd makeup is here.
yeah,
Uh, I think if I'm a Georgia Tech alumni, I'm not happy about the situation because, I mean, I think what the face value on these things is like $200 or something like that. I mean, you and I were messaging like it's almost this ticket is almost as expensive as the current prices for the SEC championship game,
yeah, it's wild, wild.
which is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see. So for the special teams, I was just gonna go over their specialists. So Aiden Burr he is their junior place kicker. He's good. Perfect on extra points, 42 of 42, and he's 22 of 25 on field goals. And then their punter, they do not take special teams seriously. However, their punter is not Australian. Marshall Nichols, he is a senior punter. He does average like almost 48 yards a punt, so like 47.96 yards a punt. So it seems like he's pretty good. But he's not Australian. He's from Atlanta. He went to Holy Innocents Episcopal School, FYI. So local kid punting for Tech. All right, that's all I got in the special teams.
I got nothing other than we're still hunting for that Zachariah Branch
Hmm. Yeah,
special teams touchdown.
yeah.
He's
We
been
didn't.
close.
He definitely something we didn't talk about because we didn't talk about the game much in the Charlotte review. But like he wanted a punt return touchdown big time against Charlotte. He's putting the effort in there. Never happened, but you can tell he wants one.
Yeah. I think that kind of summarizes these games. I think I mentioned to someone on Twitter that, you know, all bets are off in a rivalry game. We just talked about the advanced stats and what the advanced stats showcase, and Vegas has its thoughts, obviously, as well. Um, but these games come down to who wants it more. I mean, period,
Yeah,
end of story. These in-state rivalries. How many times we've been talking about the voodoo at Jordan Hare. Um, Particularly in the Alabama games, but like these rivalry games are highlighted by fire, passion, and energy, and whoever has the most of it. So I'm hopeful that the team has resonated all the different messaging that we've had all season long. They have 1,000% stepped up their effort, and I think that like like we've talked about in multiple weeks, it feels like at this point, like they're just peaking at the right moment.
yeah, yeah. Agreed. Agreed. All right, let's ready to hit the listener questions.
Yes.
All right. As always, we'll remind you that the listener questions are brought to you by Working Web Media. So they helped us redo mygodapodcast.com a couple of off seasons ago. Have been continuing to help us improve that. You can head over there, mygodapodcast.com. Check out our store. Check out all the content over there. You can see some of their work. And if you've got a small business, you need help with your website or just your online presence in general, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs, and they will know that we sent you their way. All right, we're going to start it off as we always do, JP, with the Belding bonus, TM from our friend Brett Belding. Number one, do you think Brent Key would leave for LSU, Florida, or another big job? I I hope not. I kind of feel like what are we doing? If that were to be the case. So my answer is no. Your opinion may vary there, JP.
I don't think that he will. Um, I don't, not yet anyway. I don't know that he has reached the level of. I guess I should say, had he won last week, I feel like that the likelihood would have been greater for sure. Um, but since they're sitting here basically irrelevant, I don't know that he's going to be one of those hot coaching commodities on the off season. But I also don't think that he's deserved it yet. But I do think that at some point a bigger program is going to come calling for him. And in this day and age, like I've said it multiple times, like at this point, the coaching carousel is a retirement strategy.
That's true. That's true. That's fair. And then his second question is Haynes King an anomaly, or do we expect this team to be this good next year? I do remember, I don't know if you remember this, like they've got a kid that they redshirted last year who we expected to start actually against Georgia. And then they like, I guess, let him rest and to preserve his red shirt and because Haynes King had been hurt. So that kid's still there. Philo, he's still there. I mean, he's pretty good. So I think the question kind of goes for me, it actually goes back to the last one. Like if Brent Key, stays and is still there, I don't know that they'll be as good as they were this year. But I do feel like he's made a big difference there. I mean, you could see it pretty instantly when he was named the interim even. So I don't think it's necessarily just maybe top 10, top 5 or whatever, but I don't think it's a full on anomaly.
Yeah.
Okay, Brett also had the bonus. Tech hasn't beaten Georgia at historic Mark Richt Field since the Clinton administration, and even then, Sinks was down. Is this the longest such streak? So this goes back. Actually, I'm gonna relate something to. I emailed Jason Hasty today to tell him that like his history lined up perfectly. I was already doing some research to try to answer Brett's question. Um, The answer technically is no. This is not the longest such streak. So yes, Tech has not won in Atlanta since 1999. Yes, Jasper was down. Technically, the way this was worded, no, there was a longer streak. However, it includes that World War One gap where we weren't playing each other. So we won a game in Athens in 1899. We did not win in Athens again until 1929. So that was the gap there. But like I said, and as Jason said, there was a huge gap where we weren't even playing each other. The other thing was we also used to play in Atlanta a lot back then. So there were some times where we won, I think like 3 or 4 years in a row, but they were just all happened to be in Atlanta. Like we weren't alternating home and home back then.
Hmm.
So technically, no. I don't know if that counts. So
I know
the other
that
thing is,
this is gonna tie like a streak, right?
yes. So we are going for eight here, 8 in a row. Last year would have been eight. We would have been going for eight. Well, if you assume we could have been going for eight minus COVID, right? So we didn't play each other in 2020. um, we Tech owns the longest winning streak at eight. Uh, we got so excited when we ended that streak that we retired a guy's jersey because of it. The streak ender, Theron Sapp. This is the third time we've gone for eight in a row. So we won 7 in a row from 91 to 97, lost in Athens in 98, and then we won 7 in a row from 2001 to 2007, and then lost in Athens in 2008. But since Brett brought this up, John, um, I'm going to hold this up. So this is proof of my pack rat stuff. I have a newspaper.
Yes.
I have a newspaper. This is the um let's see here. I'm looking for the date. Yeah, I can't find the date. Okay, December 1st, 19 Wednesday, December 1st, 1999. This is the Atlanta Journal. At the bottom of the front page, this is not even the sports page. There is a headline that says O'Leary, so this is back to George O'Leary days. O'Leary dogs get a life. The subheadline was Fumble Fallout. Entire crew that gave ball to Tech is suspended by SEC. Um, so take that to the Auburn crew this year. I guess there was all that stuff. The entire crew from that 1999 game was suspended. There was an SEC crew in that game at Tech. They were supposed to officiate the upcoming SEC championship game, and they actually like pulled that entire crew. So again, this is that. Here's trying to get that.
I see it.
Okay, so yeah, so I recently came across. I was actually throwing out some stuff, shocking, and saw that and saved it for this episode. So,
That's awesome.
all
You're
right,
not gonna throw that one away though.
no, it's gonna go back in the pile with the other ones. That's historical. That's historical.
Back in the hoarder. Back in the
Yep,
hoarder hole you go.
that's right. Back in the attic. All right, we'll go on to sorry, and then his hashtags. Hashtag THWGT, Taylor Georgia Tech, and Go Dogs. Thanks, Brent.
Amen.
All right, we'll head over to 51 to 7 GATA. With the possibility of so many teams finishing 10-2, is clean old fashioned hate now a must win to get into the playoff, assuming the Dogs don't get into the SEC championship game. I will say the thing that could make you like nervous about something like that was Alabama. Was I think Alabama was fourth. They lost to Oklahoma and they dropped from 4 to 10. So we've seen the number 4 team lose, get to their second loss and drop 6 spots. That has happened this season. So I mean, if you're at 10, you're still going to get in. Um, so even if you drop 6 spots from 4 to 10, you're still in the playoff. So I would say, I mean, I definitely feel like a home, like that bye slash home game scenario. I think that's on the line for sure. And you're on the edge of the playoff as well.
I still don't see how you keep Georgia out of the playoff, even if we were to lose this game. But
Yeah, but you could
um,
lose. You could lose that home game, that first round home game. You have to go on the
yes,
road potentially.
correct, correct.
Yeah, yeah. And then he spelled out
Which
GATA.
could be interesting too.
Yeah, yeah, could be. I mean, right now we're sitting with that rare double bye. If things were to hold,
That would be so ridiculous if we ended up with a double bye. Like
it would be wild.
Kirby's playing 3D chess now.
I know. Yeah, seriously. Uh, and then he spelled out GATA for us. Get after Texas.
Amen.
All right, let's head to John Michael D. Little Stitious ready. What are 3 things you clean old fascists love about Thanksgiving? How about you,
Mm.
JP? What are some things you clean old fashioned love about Thanksgiving?
I love the family time that you get at Thanksgiving. Um, I love the pomp and circumstance that goes into the prep, the parade, like, the traditions that you have of, I ask my kids this question, like, what are some of your favorite side items? Like, what do you like to eat at Thanksgiving and things like that?
Yeah.
And shocker, like they don't agree on anything. Um, so I like that. I like not working, man. I like not working.
Time off.
I'm
Welcome time
off.
off.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Those are my 3 things.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. Yeah. The family, the food, and the football. And man, we've got a triple header of college football on Black Friday, so I guess that's the day after. So that's gonna be
Yeah, dude.
pretty. It's been pretty sweet. So
I feel like it's like the dudes, well, the football lovers version of Black Friday, I guess I should say,
yeah.
especially since Lily probably would be uh, glued to the couch more so than wanting to go out Black Friday shopping.
Okay. So here I'll get into what something that's gonna be going on. So we're gonna be at Fripp, and on Black Friday or whatever the day after Thanksgiving, Fripp does like a Christmas like golf cart thing. You ride around, and then Santa comes, and so Santa
Mm.
comes, and you can go sit on Santa's lap. And so we generally do that, but it's on Friday, so it's gonna be during the game. And so Lily was like, "I'm staying at the house." I was like, "I'm not going to that." So yeah, insight. So
A-
confirm,
Amen.
confirm, John.
Yeah, can confirm.
um,
Yeah, that's yeah.
what he also added, what if any are things you clean old fashioned hate about Thanksgiving?
This is gonna be a incredibly like vitriolic hot take, but I do not like stuffing and dressing. Not a big fan of those items.
Okay, okay. I'm not a stuffing person, but I do like dressing. So
Okay.
yeah,
Which Bobby was so eloquently articulating the difference between the two.
I saw that. I saw that.
If you hadn't
Yes.
seen it on Twitter, I believe that the consensus was that stuffing was a bread-based item that goes inside of the turkey for obvious reasons,
Hmm.
and that dressing was a cornbread-based item that is a side dish.
I agree. Yes, I thought he explained it correctly, or his explanation matched my understanding. I guess I'll say.
Correct. Although I have seen people cook the stuffing not inside the turkey for sanitary reasons.
I have heard of that as well. Yes, yes. We don't do this stuffing, so I don't know. I guess I don't really
I'm just not I
know.
don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just not my thing. Not my thing.
Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I don't. I'll say I don't partake at least like on foot. Again, I guess this is Thanksgiving weekend. I don't like to do the Black Friday shopping. Like personally, like I'm not
Mm,
going to go and deal with that. So I'm more of a online take advantage of some sales potentially kind of thing. So
yeah. Yeah, dude. We're not savages anymore. We
yeah,
we don't need to be fighting over Tickle Me Elmos at the
dude, yeah,
mall.
yeah. Like go to Walmart and like fighting for the TV or whatever. No, no, none of that.
They
No.
do still have like I feel like that the retailers, American retailers are shading things more towards the people like you that are just not all about going out to the sales. But they do cater to those crazy people that get up at 4 a.m. and go out and wait in line and do all the things. Like they have the doorbusters that you can get your hands on, like, the $100, 60-inch TVs and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not worth it to me.
We went right into the question, and I left out his clarifier. We should all clean old fashioned hate. This game is at Mercedes Benz on a Friday, so that doesn't count. So we don't.
I do hate that this game is at Mercedes-Benz. Josh somewhere is like preaching like, "Amen. Play games on college campuses."
He's sending it the gif of the kid like with his hand up.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good segue to Herman Wood. He wants to know, what is your favorite memory from Grant Field?
My favorite memory from Grant Field was when I took um three generations of my family's boys there. Lindsay's dad, brother, and Carter
Hmm.
were there with us the last time that we went to Bobby Dodd. Um, that was pretty fun. That was pretty special.
Wasn't that like 2021? Wasn't that like when like Brock Bowers like went crazy?
Yeah, that was the Brock Bowers game.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that just adds to it. On top of
Cor-
it there.
Correct, correct. And we were all sitting on the side, like, yeah, that's a good memory for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. For me, as far as like being there, I'd probably go 2001 because that ended a 3 game winning streak for Tech. And so I was there for that one. I remember Fred Gibson had a huge catch down the sideline. Ron Haynes ran wild over them, and Tim Wansley had a pick six on George Godsey to seal it. So I'll go with that one. All
Good
right,
one.
let's go to Fletcher Proctor. He said, "I'll be listening to the game Friday as I drive back home from Texas. My question: are you able to ignore social media and watch a game hours after it happened without knowledge of the outcome? My anxiety will not allow it." Dogs by 90. I can't do that anymore. I used to do that like pre social media and like pre DVR. Like we once were flying home during a bowl game. And we were playing in like the Oahu or whatever, the Hawaii Bowl, Oahu Bowl, one of the bowls, and they used to be in Hawaii. And we were flying home from Montana and couldn't watch it. So like, actually, Kim recorded the game for me on VHS, and watch it when I got home. But nowadays, I I can't. I've tried, but I don't know. My take now is you can listen to the stream on the app. So I kind of feel like you can always just have some headphones with you and do that. So I haven't even tried that in a
Yeah.
while.
I think that in even in this day and age, like you can always watch on your phone kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I would watch while Carter played soccer kind of thing. Um, but I have absolutely been able to turn things off and not do it and just watch it. I mean, I've done that with you guys a couple times. Like I'll just turn off all the notifications
Yeah.
and not look at social media and not talk to anybody, like because everybody will say something. Um,
Yeah.
and I'll play catch up. And I'll be like, all right, I just caught up. Like I feel
I've
like I've done that a couple times.
I've definitely yes, can confirm. That text does come through sometimes. I've got up. Like, oh, sorry, we were bombarding you with like spoilers.
Yeah, yeah, and then I'll like scroll back and like find all the stuff. I'm like, yeah, this sucked. Like,
Okay, so
and then
there's the good advice. You got to prep for that and like turn off all your notifications for text and everything.
yes, exactly, 100%. You gotta just go completely do not disturb on your cell phone. Um, and then Jim will be like, JB must have JB must be watching on delay. Wait till you get to this part.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
so true.
I think it is possible. Anxiety is not something that I'm too worried about these days, but I can understand how that would feel. Um, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I will say, Fletcher, if you're looking for a method, I would definitely just do the yeah, download the Georgia app and you can stream Scott Howard and crew
depending on what kind
while
of
you're driving.
vehicle, depending on what kind of vehicle you have,
Hmm.
I don't know that you could, I don't know that you could procure one of these devices before Friday at this point, but they do make these these plug-in devices that turn your like if you have one of those like touchscreen situations
Hmm.
where it kind of hacks into the system and basically allows you to mirror your phone onto that screen.
Got it.
I've seen those I've been targeted with those ads because I'm in that algorithm, I guess. And I've been like, ooh, that would be pretty awesome. But I've yet to pull the trigger on it, but they look super cool.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Basically turns it into like a streaming device kind of thing.
Right. 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 Gotcha. All right. Well, Fletcher, best of luck listening as you travel home.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hit Ryan Heinko. Doesn't have a question, just a statement. He says he told his kids there would be no Christmas if we don't beat the Georgia North Avenue Trade School. Uh, Told them to call their mom's family, one Nat alumni, and a bunch of Nat fans, and cry to them. Then we just set up the tree anyway. So I think that was the right move. Um, I will say no
Jeff Chancellor
tree.
approves.
Jeff Dancer approves. We haven't done the tree yet here either. Waiting until we get back from Thanksgiving. So I
Yeah.
like it.
I haven't set up my tree yet either for obvious reasons, but
Yeah, yeah. Or let's go to Shinobu. UGA Hoops Shinobu. Where would the 1997 game rank on a list of games between Georgia and Georgia Tech? Then went on to say my favorite was 2017 and 19, and last year as well. 78 was wonderful and very underrated game. Yeah, those are all good ones. 1997 has a special place for me. That was my senior year of high school. I think I've mentioned multiple times, like my kind of core group of friends, we kind of like went 50-50 Georgia and Georgia Tech as far as our college days. And we had a one like close buddy who was a year ahead of us in school, and he was a freshman at Tech. We were supposed to go to that game, but had a snafu where he lost his keys and the tickets were in his dorm. We couldn't get to our tickets. But watched it on TV. That was a big one. So I don't know that one ranks pretty high. That one ranks pretty high for me. And then I don't know. I guess as far as close games, that's a good one. Last year was a great one. Shoot, man, I even like the Cannon Parkman field goal one from like whenever that was. I think 95. So
hmm.
all right, let's go to all school. All school. Do you think Kirby will remind the guys of last year's game? Do we really need motivation to stay focused? They hate us. They want to ruin our season. How do we best approach this game mentally?
I would say that they're definitely going to be reminding them of like to not take these guys lightly because this is the same quarterback that willed them into overtime versus us kind of thing. Um, I don't know that they'll obviously have motivation, but as far as like the mental components, like Kirby will have those guys dialed in. I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know how what the best approach would be. Um, but I think that it'll center around playing for the G, and not losing to these guys, and Kirby will have a unique perspective on that.
Yeah. Agree. Agree. I got nothing to add to that. Let's go to Bubby Dean. Where does Clean Old Fashioned rank in the list of year end rivalries? I mean, I think it's hard pressed to not put the Iron Bowl up there at the top. I think that's as far as like just the one people know, and that one's been so crazy. But it's up there. I mean, for me, I don't know. I think like Iron Bowl, the game, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas A&M. Now with that one back, and then the Egg Bowl, in Georgia Tech. I mean, shoot, the Black Friday lineup of the Egg Bowl, clean old fashioned hate, and then Texas against A&M at night that's beautiful. I love getting all three of those in-state rivalry games on Black Friday. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that I mean you got to have Harvard and Yale and Army, Navy, like those have been
Mm,
around for substantially longer times.
okay. Yeah, that's a good ones.
Um I mean shoot, even Auburn, Georgia has been around for a really long time as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Um yeah, I mean I'd say it probably ranks up there. Um I think it just depends on where you're from.
yeah, yeah.
Because
I'd put it like
Oregon,
I'd
Oregon State, like the Civil War, which is kind of wild, but
is that's not at the end of the year anymore though. I don't think. I think they already
oh,
played
right,
that.
right, right, right.
So,
Fair
but it
enough.
used to
Fair
be.
enough.
Used to
End of
be.
the
Yeah.
year.
Again, what are we doing? But
Right. Right, 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 right,
I'd say
right.
top five. I'd put it in the top five
That's
personally.
fair. That's fair.
We talked about this. How amazing is the fact that Tech hasn't won in Atlanta since the OT win in '99? It's glorious. Is an insect the weakest mascot in college football? Go Dogs beat Tech. We run this state. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can get it with a fly swatter. You can swat it, but I don't know. I was gonna say like there are mascots that are like trees, like Stanford has a tree. Although it is hard to cut down a tree, so I guess you could argue that.
I mean, there's mascots that are like uh, a wave.
Hey man, you got to respect the ocean. The ocean's powerful.
Respect the ocean. I'm trying to think what else. Um,
I mean, there's just like a color,
that's
orange,
right, the
the
orange,
Syracuse orange.
the Syracuse Orangeman. That's true. Um, golly. Oh, there's a I don't know. How is an insect weaker than? Well, I guess the horned frogs. They probably
Okay,
eat they probably eat the insect.
I could. You know who could answer this question? Mike Leach.
Ah, pours one out.
R.I.P. Oh man, he was so good. All
Yeah,
right,
he that would have been a good question to ask him for
that would
sure.
100% would have been because he would have had like a legitimate answer.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We've got one from a friend of the show, Roddy Nabulsi. We've had Roddy's been on the show before. Um,
Hey, Roddy.
Roddy checks in and wants to know: does this game mean more to Kirby than Florida? I thought this was a good one.
I
I
don't
don't.
know.
Yeah. I that was my
I don't
general
I don't know,
reaction to it.
man. I don't know, man. I think that I mean this hat, while applicable, um
Mm,
that phrase originates from beating Florida.
yeah.
Um
Yeah.
I think that he truly, truly hates Florida. I think that he just I don't know. I also think that he hates Georgia Tech. Just maybe he's kind of he's in our generation that probably hates Florida a little bit more because they're an SEC opponent.
Well, I think we've talked before about how your younger days shape you as a fan, and obviously I know it's different as a player, but let's think about his playing days, right? I mean, he was on the field when Spurrier, as they say, hung half a hundred on the Dogs in Athens. He played in that game. He did win his only loss against Georgia Tech. He only lost to Georgia Tech once. So his senior year in 1998, he did lose that game. So that was frustrating. That had a controversial ending. I will say he was an assistant, like he was like a grad assistant in 1999. So he was a coach in that year that Jasper was down. The last time we lost at Georgia Tech. So those things were both there. So if I had to guess, I'd still probably say second, considering he had one loss against Tech. He only had one win against Florida as a player. So I'm with you there. All right, let's go to Chris Haddock at Dr. Dog 1996. Um, do you still smile when thinking of Reggie Ball throwing that fourth down pass out of bounds? Yes, absolutely. And he's been showing up in my feed lately. He was on a podcast, some Atlanta podcast recently, and it's been interesting. I keep seeing him popping up. Let's see. Jasper Sank's non-fumble still terribly upsetting. No, yes, absolutely. I still have a newspaper that I held up earlier about it. Uh, let's see. Given the chance, would you eat the turf a la Ben Jones? I would. And then four to hell with
Yeah,
Tech. Would you eat the turf?
absolutely. You need a little bit of crazy. You need a little bit of crazy. If particularly if I had a freaking Monster Man ripping it up, I definitely would grab a hunk of it.
That was a wild moment. That was a wild moment.
I definitely still smile about Reggie Ball. That's funny. That's always going to be funny.
Yeah, it'll never not be funny. Let's see. All school. This group of trade school bees seem to be losing their sting as the temps get colder. Will the queen bee be able to recharge the worker bees one more time before they die off for the winter?
That's Musser, right? Not all school.
Did I miss something up? Yeah, that is Musser. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely losing their sting. I don't know that I think that I don't think it has anything to do with the temperatures getting colder, but yes, they happen to be getting colder. Um, the queen bee. Um, yeah.
I don't know.
That's funny.
I know. I just feel like this was like well played, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been going in the wrong direction of late. I don't know. Brenke is going to do what he can to try. Hopefully he's unable to succeed.
Yeah, I have a feeling Buster Faulkner will have some trickeration up his sleeve when things get desperate for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Boss Dog, TJ Witt. I think we hit this first one. What's your favorite moments from this game when you were in attendance for? We at least hit those at Tech. Um, who do you hate more than Falula Lorda or the Bumblebees? I think no one.
Tennessee.
You hate
Oh,
them more.
hate them more? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I say no one.
No, none,
Yeah.
none,
Yeah.
none more.
Agreed.
Favorite moments from a game that you were in attendance for. So I guess favorite moments for me would be last year's game with Carter. Being
Mm,
there with Carter was pretty awesome. For that overtime madness. Um,
yeah.
so that
That's a good one.
that would be
That
another
is
one.
true. That is true. Even though it was super cold, but it was so awesome.
It was so
Uh,
cold.
I guess I'll add 2002. 2002 is pretty sweet. I like that one. All right, let's see. Gene Fambro says, "Is it just me, or have you guys noticed all the main play-by-play announcers are more animated these days? McDonough, Tessitore, and even Fowler go way overboard where they don't need to, and they should get off my lawn." GATA. Was I feel like Gus Johnson is the biggest offender here, personally.
Yeah. Is he which game did he do for us most
Gus
recently?
jo- Gus Johnson? He
Yeah.
hasn't. He hasn't.
He
He
hasn't
does
done
like he's
one?
he's on Fox, but he was the one in that Illinois Penn State game and he like freaked out when Mendoza threw the touchdown pass. He's just like like he just like screams and his voice cracks and stuff.
Yeah. I think that there's definitely a lot of yelling and screaming going on. I don't know who it is. I it's funny. You go back and I have the same thought with former U.S. soccer announcers.
Hmm.
Like I feel like it's just like a lost art form. Um, golly, who was JP Dellacamera? JP Dellacamera for U.S. Soccer was the like I hated watching games when he was on because it was like every touch of the ball was just over the top, and I get where he's coming from on that, and I can't remember if it's McDonough, but I feel like every pass is like
Right.
Like,
Right.
bro,
Yeah.
we're a
I
far cry. We're a far cry from the Ron Franklins and Musburgers era.
Yeah, I agree. Man, like Keith Jackson. Like,
Keith Jackson, yeah,
yeah. Yeah. It's an art. It's an art. Yeah, I do. I get off my lawn as well. This was good.
yeah,
I agree.
agreed, agreed.
Let's see. Yara has chimed in. Yara, from Chapel Bill Curve. What are five must brings for a tailgate? I don't have
Mm.
five, but I've got one in bean dip.
I mean, five is a lot. Holy
It is
cow!
a
Like,
lot.
how much are you trying to bring?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, if you're doing like the entire tailgate, you need your beverages of choice. Although I would say water is like, as far as like things you might forget, bring water. Always good
yeah,
to
you
have
can always bring
some
an
water.
unopened water into the game too.
That's true. Yes, you can bring that into the game. So, water. You gotta have your snacks. So yeah, like a bean dip or something with some like chips. Ooh, John is holding up the My God a Podcast koozie. Definitely a
Which
must bring.
shameless plug time, Jim.
Shameless plug. Head over to mygodapodcast.com/store. You can get your silver britches My God a Podcast koozie. Um,
I always have a koozie in my back pocket on tailgate day.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm trying to think. A bottle opener would also be something that I always have on me as well.
Mm,
Um, I don't know. Must brings is a relative term, but I think for the most part, you just want to bring yourself, and
mm.
yeah,
Okay,
five things is a lot.
it is a lot. I,
Ice.
I think we're close. Who there's a good dude.
That's gonna be Morris Hall's answer. Ice.
Ice. That, yeah, 100%. 100%. What was your favorite game day experience this season?
Hmm.
Mm,
Going with Caroline was my favorite game day experience.
okay. Okay. I would probably, I guess I would go Texas. Um, Maybe just that one. I feel like the night game, the atmosphere, uh,
Oh,
that was a good one. Um, yeah, I'll go with Texas. And Kim and Lily were both able to make up for that one, so I'll go with that
I like it.
one. And then she finishes out. I know we hate both sides of the Iron Bowl, but which side is winning in your perfect universe? So not who do you think, but who do you want to win? To me,
The
I think this comes
asteroid.
down to what's that?
The
Yes.
asteroid.
Okay. 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 That answer wins, and we will now move on. Friend of the show, Tim Riley. Okay, coming at us this week, a joint question from both Tim and Addison. From me and Addison sitting together at St. George Island. My first Georgia Tech game in person was 1997. Tech brother, Tim's older brother, went to Georgia Tech. For those who don't know, do we see this playing out as a close nail biter, or Kirby gets back to blowout ways, feeding off recent big game momentum? Go Dogs! Happy Thanksgiving, all. I know we can't reveal our picks early, Tim. Just kidding.
Yeah, come on, bro.
We'll have the this week's Georgia Tech Clean Old Fashioned Hate picks brought to you by friend of the show Tim Riley and Addison in a moment.
There we go.
All right, let's head to the next one.
Fireball.
All right, the Hug Dog, Jason Huggins. First, he says, "Appreciate you guys spending a little time with me Saturday." Absolutely, Jason. That was a blast. Um, would you sell a home game for $10 million? Although he added, "Don't we already do that in Jacksonville?"
Do we get $10 million from
So that is
Jacksonville?
what Tech is getting for this game.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I don't know how much we get from Jacksonville, but yeah. So if you're unfamiliar, that is why Tech agreed to move this game from Bobby Dodd Stadium to Mercedes Benz. There, it's a $10 million payday. That's actually what that Seth Emerson article I mentioned earlier was about. Was about how like they're fine with doing that. Like it's done a lot for the school. I would say this: would I do it? Like as a fan, no. I think it's a different question for an athletic director. So for me, no.
Okay, so it appears that we get $1.5 million for the next couple of years here. However, in 28 and 29, it does increase to $10 million.
Okay. Okay.
And then in 30 and 31, it'll be $10.5 million.
Got it. So beyond that, would you give up another home game to for $10 million to play at Mercedes Benz?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I
Um,
I I actually want to give up the Jacksonville game too,
okay,
but that's a story for another game.
fair enough. Second favorite home game and why? I'm gonna answer this like generically. Um, the first one, like the home opener,
Ooh.
is, and especially if the first game of the year happens to be at home. It's been so long since you've been to Athens. Get into town, see a lot of familiar faces for the first time in a long time. So I'm gonna go with the first one.
So my answer may end up being yours by default, but you may not be considering it. But I always will say that the most underrated game on the UGA football calendar is G Day,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
which technically is the first home game.
Okay. 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 That's
Um,
not what I was talking about, but I get
it's not what I'm talking about, Jen.
it. uh,
Um, but yeah, I agree. Like that first home game is amazing. But yeah, I mean, kind of like what I was saying in the last episode, like any game that you're there
mhm. Yeah.
is my favorite because even if you're not going into the game, you're watching at the tailgate. Like some of our stalwarts that are always at the games, even some of them watched at the tailgate kind of thing. But just being there in Athens is unbeatable, particularly if you have a group, and if you need a group, let us know. But like, I don't know. I just think that if you can get around a tent and a TV, a cooler of beer, and hang out with your buddies, like that to me is just magical.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's see. Third, in honor of clean old fashioned hate, do you prefer smoked glasses for your old fashioned?
Mm. I do like a good smoked old fashioned for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, 100%. A smoked glass will absolutely elevate your old fashioned game. I do say if you are in the Atlanta area and you can swing by the Iberian Pig, they have probably one of the best smoked old fashions that I think I've ever had because it is a bacon smoked old fashioned.
Mm, phenomenal.
They do the bourbon in a fat wash, where they take the bacon grease and it marinates in the bourbon, and then over the course of, I want to say it takes the whole process because I've tried it myself. I could probably do it now because I actually have cheesecloth, but last time I did, I didn't have any cheesecloth. But you basically strain the fat out, it solidifies, put it in the freezer kind of thing, and the fat solidifies, and then you kind of extract it out, and the bacon and the bourbon actually has a smoky from the just the bacon, kind of natural taste, and then you throw a smoked old fashioned on top of it, and it's amazing.
Got it. Got it.
And they
Um,
give you a piece of bacon with it.
um, the last one was, where does Georgia Tech rank on your most hated list in Sikkim? I mean, for I know that most people don't agree with me, but for me,
One
they're
B,
yeah, it's one for
one B.
me just because my first 3 years at Georgia, we went 0-3 against these guys. So
Yeah,
that's for me, they're one, but
yeah.
1B is
I
fair.
mean, I mean, Florida and Georgia Tech are 1A, 1B.
Okay, fair enough. All right, JP, we got one more.
Oh my God! My God, a freshman.
Trying to put glasses on it. 1980, woo, brother.
It is time for Coach Trillbill's over unders Georgia Tech edition. I do still have a slight lead. I am going to choose to go first. So we'll start with the Georgia offense, starting with over under 225 yards passing for Gunnar Stockton. Um, hmm. I'm going to go first. And I'm sitting here thinking about, I'm going to go over.
You okay? I'm also gonna go over.
Okay. Over to you, Zachariah Branch, over under 65 receiving yards.
I'm gonna go over, Jim.
Okay. Okay. Over as well. I'm going to agree. Sorry. Over. And then over under 1.5 rushing touchdowns for Georgia. I'll take the over.
Running back rushing touchdowns.
Sorry. Yes, correct. We're usually
Clarifying
running back.
question. Shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I did not read it. See, this is what keeping me honest there. I'm going to go over though.
I'm also going to go over.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
have gone over either way.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely would have gone over the other way. Okay, so over to you on the defensive side. Over under 55 rushing yards for Haynes King.
Hmm. This is including sacks?
My understanding is that in college football, a sack is negative rushing yards, so it impacts your net.
Hmm. Okay. So we are talking net rushing yards.
I believe so. That's how I interpret this.
It's a good line.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that he's gonna get some yards. I'm gonna go over.
Okay. Um, inside baseball, I decided to just say the opposite of whatever you were going to say on this one, so I'm saying under. Okay, over under 4.5 tackles for a loss. I think that's also a good line. I'm gonna go over here.
I'm also gonna go over on that one.
Okay, and then over under 13.5 first half points for Georgia Tech.
Is this to me?
Mm-hmm. It is.
Push. Um, I'm gonna go under.
Okay. I think I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say under as well.
Okay.
All right, and then over to me, special teams. Over under 6.5 points for Peyton Woodring. I'm gonna go over.
Points. So that's
Yeah,
field
it's
goals
like
and extra points.
correct.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
Okay, and then the miscellaneous. We'll leave this with starting with you. Percentage of red in Mercedes Benz over under 65%.
Smash the over.
I love it. I love it. I'll agree with you on that one. All right, Coach. Appreciate it as always. Love doing these. And hey, thanks for keeping track of them for us as well.
Yes.
Always love that. Always love that Sunday, either late Saturday night or Sunday text. When we get the updates from Coach, it's always amazing. So much fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right. So let's now we'll do the game picks presented by friend of the show Tim Riley and Addison. Okay, so the line last I checked was 13.5. So Georgia's favored by 13.5, with an over under of 59.5 from OddsShark. That gives an implied score of Georgia 36.5 to Georgia Tech 23. The OddsShark predicted score has Georgia 35.6 to Georgia Tech 32.4. Parker Fleming, his CFB graphs has Georgia 35.68 to Georgia Tech 22.34. And then our scoring impact has an actually fairly tight scoring impact from I Got a Podcast. Georgia 33.53 to Georgia Tech 28.22. I guess I guess I've been tending to go first on these. So I think I've been kind of back and forth on this. I think I texted you a while ago, like, and I think I said it on here before, like, I thought when Tech got through those first few weeks, like I thought they were going to make it to this game undefeated. Yeah, I was like, everyone needs to be ready for Georgia Tech to roll into this game undefeated. So that didn't happen. I think their defense has taken a step back since last year. Like I said earlier, don't be shocked if they go down and score in the first possession, but I expect us to adjust. I'm taking the Dogs 31-17.
Mm. I similarly have a that score. I was actually waffling on the 17 or the 14. I have us 38-17, June.
Ooh, man. God, that would be delicious. All right. As we say with these things, I hope you are right.
For what it's worth, Jim, some of the models that I've investigated, the AI models,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a single one of them predict much less than that.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
as far as like the margin of victory there.
Got it. Okay. Man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. This game is going to come down to like whose defense do you trust more? And at the end of the day, I trust Kirby Smart's defense more.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. I don't think I have the pick'ems for coaches fully set up. Apologies on that, so I won't flash those on the screen. But we've got the slate of Friday and Saturday games from Coach. So we got the rivalry games. So
Mm.
Like I said earlier, Black Friday 3 rivalry games. So the lead in to Georgia Tech is the Egg Bowl. So you got number 6 Ole Miss is a 7.5 point favorite at Mississippi State, 12 p.m. on ABC. I got to go with Ole Miss though. Like I know there's all the weirdness going on with Lane and Willie State and Willie Go. It is 11 a.m. local there. It's at Mississippi State, the home crowd, but I'm gonna go with Ole Miss.
Yep, the Fighting Hunters are going to take it to the Cow College, as
Okay.
you would say.
Okay. Then the nightcap Friday night, 7:30 on ABC. Number 3 Texas A&M is a 2.5 point favorite at number 17 Texas. I guess all these games have SEC championship implications. I think Texas might win this one. I'm gonna go with Texas.
Mm. You're going with Texas.
Yeah, at Texas at night. I'm going Texas.
Give me A&M on that one
Okay.
for a number of reasons.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you want to skip the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
All right. So then Saturday's slate, starting off at noon, we've got Clemson goes to South Carolina. South Carolina is a 2.5 point favorite. It's a 12 o'clock game on SEC Network. Man, bit of a struggle for both teams.
The
Carolina's
lame duck bowl.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, doesn't have the luster as last year.
No. I'll take Carolina for Chuck.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Carolina as well. I think they've been playing all right of late, so I'm gonna take them.
Yeah, I mean, they nearly had the other guys, so
How about we got 14 Vanderbilt travels to number 20 Tennessee. Tennessee's actually favored by 2.5 points. This is a 3:30 game on ESPN. Playoff implications potentially for Vanderbilt. They're still trying to climb up in the playoff rankings.
yeah, give me the Vols on that one, Jim.
Okay, man, I was gonna pick Tennessee, but I'm need some action between the two of us. I'm gonna take Vandy.
I'm trying to create a separation
Separation.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. I got a little ground to make up on these. Then you got LSU at number 8 Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored by 10.5. That's also a 3:30 game. I got two 3:30 games. That one's on ABC.
Doubleheader.
Yeah.
Golly,
Oklahoma.
what are we doing?
I know, seriously, but I'm saying Oklahoma big in this one. That LSU was in disarray.
Yeah, give me Oklahoma for sure.
Another lame duck one. Florida State at Florida, 4:30 on ESPN2. Florida is favored in this one by 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Florida
Okay, yeah,
in the swamp.
I can't separation Saturday on that one because I agree with you. And then we'll wrap it up Saturday night. So with this game again, for sure SEC championship implications. You got number 10 Alabama, 5.5 point favorite at Auburn at Jordan Hare, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. I got
Who you got, Jim?
crazy things happen there, but that 5.5 line seems wild to me. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I don't see how this Auburn team beats this Alabama team. So I'm going to go with Alabama.
Interesting, Jim. So you don't have any faith in the voodoo of Jordan Hare.
Some they don't have any faith in it, but I don't see them winning. However, I did predict that Texas wins, which means Georgia goes to the SEC championship game.
Okay, so you have Georgia going to the SEC championship game for sure. I guess I didn't really look at this. What happens if both of them lose?
It depends.
Oh
So
no.
there is I'm pretty sure there's a world where if they both lose and Ole Miss beats Mississippi State, it could actually be Georgia Ole Miss in the SEC championship. That's possible.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh man.
I just confirmed that, by the way. The scenario I ran was Ole Miss beats Mississippi State, Texas wins, Missouri beats Arkansas, Auburn beats Alabama, Oklahoma beats LSU, and Tennessee beats Vanderbilt. That would be Georgia Ole Miss.
I do think that Alabama is going to roll. So I'm going to stick to what my gut here. There's a lot of voodoo in Auburn, but I think Alabama rolls big.
Yeah. That line is weird, but Okay, so with your predictions, you've got kind of status quo in the SEC with A&M and Bama in the SEC championship game, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so those are your scenarios. Uh, those two teams win, they're in. Um, if one loses, it's Georgia. If they both, Georgia versus the other one, if they both lose, and Ole Miss wins, it could still be Georgia Ole Miss. So we're not going to know the full SEC championship lineup until the Iron Bowl ends. So
That's funny.
yeah,
Could be a late night for
could be.
people trying to jump on any abandoned hotel rooms and tickets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy. All right, man. Well, we're gonna be at Fripp. Uh, so we're gonna go do Thanksgiving there, and then uh, be sitting around and watching a bunch of football Friday and Saturday before we're heading home. So looking for a huge slate of rivalry games this weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna be local here with the kids, and then I'll be with some folks for Thanksgiving. But yeah, there will definitely be lots of football watched. Probably not as much as you're probably going to be watching with Lily, but I need to work on my kids with the watching of football. Um, Carter's on board. I need to get the girls. I need to get the girls plugged in. They're more on the Ella train of football watching.
Yeah, which is
They'd
let's
rather
let's
watch K-pop Demon Hunters.
hey, call back to prior episodes. Hey, I like K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, agreed.
Uh,
Oh
too
man,
good.
but I'm jealous. Y'all are gonna be warm, and we're gonna be freezing our nuts off, our chestnuts off here in Georgia, because it's about to get into the 20s, I feel like.
I don't think it's gonna be that cold, but a cold front is coming through to Fripp too. So that Kim looked at the weather and was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" So like, yeah, it's not. It's not. We're gonna be at the beach, but it's not gonna be warm. So FYI. So yeah, and I know you were saying. I guess we talked about it earlier. Like the ticket prices, right? So probably not in the cards. I think to head to this one for you. We're obviously be out of town, so not gonna do it.
I'll have all the kids, all the little kids with me, and so that's a that's a hefty investment for a game
Yeah, 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 yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Carter would be excited, but and I think Caroline would be excited, but my other girl would not be. Camden would not be.
Caroline
So,
wouldn't have me there to play Flip Cup or whatever we played during the games.
exactly, exactly. Oh
uh,
man, not to mention the fact that like there would be no merch, no merch shopping, like because there's no bookstore. But
okay, true, true.
I'm sure we could find some Skittles for her. But
Amazing.
anyway,
Cool. Hey man, another clean old fashioned eight.
another one on deck. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to hearing about the family. Are you guys going to be playing Coob?
Ooh, that's a good question. We might work in some beach cube.
Is
Uh,
there going to be is there going to be a Thanksgiving tournament?
no tournament, but there might be a
Family
game.
family tournament?
There
Yeah.
might, yeah, it might be. We might be able to get around in something to do on the beach. Like we're not going to be like sitting on the beach, but yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, we might do that.
Well, you guys enjoy. Tell Lou and Ponda I said hello. Ponda's famous beach house. Get the bean dip rocking, so we don't have any little stitious problems. Um, and yeah, man, y'all have fun and go dogs.
Go dogs.
And happy Thanksgiving, bro.
Happy Thanksgiving.